Well, we're seeing people in shock and dismay occupying this block, which is right in front of the National Assembly. One of the scenes where this drama played out, where, as you mentioned, all the members of the National Assembly, or many of the members of the National Assembly, come back and unanimously vote to overturn and suspend martial law instituted here in South Korea. So let's push in, show you some of these protesters. There were hundreds of people before. You know, when we were on, Boris and Brianna, earlier in the evening, I would say about 3 hours ago, we saw two military vehicles that were trying to get out of here. One of the pieces of good news that we've been able to report since we were on the air, we saw troops, members of the military, who were positioned up and down this street. Again, one of the main streets of Seoul, one of the main avenues looking to the beautiful National Assembly. All of those military assets seem to have dispersed after that unanimous decision from the parliament and after we heard from South Korea's president that, yep, he was going to back down. Now, what we're waiting for, the cabinet has to come in of the presidential administration and simply give the rubber stamp and say, okay, this is all over. But it seems to be, you know, a palpable sigh of relief. People still honestly befuddled, Boris and Brianna, of how this happened. We have the South Korean president giving a speech over live TV, unannounced, saying that from his point of view, pro-North Korean and anti-state forces were working to overturn the government and infiltrate the state. And we're all kind of wondering, what is he talking about? Very unclear, no specific pieces of evidence, and people who you talk to are wondering similar things. How did the president even decide this? How did he take us down this path? It's such a sensitive, of course, tributary of South Korean history wrapping up here, because this is the first time since 1980 that martial law was instituted right after the Korean War. This is a place where dictators ruled, essentially. We have 28,500 American troops who are spread throughout the country, a crucial American ally. Stability here is key, so we seem to be breathing a sigh of relief, but need to hear from the president about why he did this and what is next, Boris and Brianna.
Yeah, and Mike, what about his future? He's so unpopular, as you have noted in your reports. Can he survive this politically?
You know, so many rules of politics have been rewritten over the past couple of years. It seems unlikely that he will be able to survive, but his critics would say that he does thrive on drama and taking a tough stand, especially against North Korea, and being a fighter. So who knows? Unable to answer that question before the sun rises. If he will resign, so many people want him to. Will he survive? It seems unlikely, but we're buckling up here in East Asia. It remains to be seen.